So if the pilot doesn't get rectification, it can go into what's called a pre-purge. It'll try for 4 sections to blow out the system with the convection fan in it. It'll wait and it'll try again. After 3 attempts, it locks out the control. The reason we want that to happen is without flame rectification of the pilot, we'd never want the main valve ever to come on. So the ignition control will try 3 times, 4 times on some models for ignition. If that ignition doesn't occur, then it's going to lock out the ignition control module. You'll have to restart the oven and try again. The reason it's important to have that verification of pilot is because if we turn the main valve on without verification of pilot, we could have an explosion. All right. We don't want the gas coming out to no pilot and making it out of the oven and touching off somewhere else. So that verification in either mechanical or electrical fashion has to be attained in most cooking equipment before the main valve can be turned on. There are some systems that utilize this. It's a carbide. This system works a little bit different with the ignition control. A carbide ignition control actually relies on the carbide to be drawing the proper amperage. There's 24 volt, there's 120 volt carbides, but most of the ignition control modules that work in series with a carbide need to see an amperage draw in a properly functioning threshold. So if this carbide's supposed to, from the factory, draw 2.1 amps, the ignition control module won't turn on the main gas to the valve until that amperage is reached. If the carbide's broken or failing, it won't turn on the main gas valve. It'll go through the ignition cycle, try to heat the carbide. If it doesn't reach the amperage draw that it needs, it'll just go into an ignition failure. If it does reach the amperage it needs, it kicks on the main valve and you get ignition spread. With these carbides on the other side of the burner, there's typically a flame sense rod. So it's never just the carbide. It'll always be a flame sense rod with a carbide. There's no way to sense back through the carbide. But with the ignition control modules, spark ignition, like I said, there could be one flame sense rod and one igniter rod, or there could just be a shared igniter / flame sense rod.